before you get there, you must already have a picture in your mind of yourself already being there. There's this question I like asking myself whenever I'm working towards something, or that I'm praying towards something, or that I'm aiming for something. And it's a question I like asking people as well who are aiming towards something or working towards something. And the question is, how will you feel when the thing becomes a reality, right? What emotions will you experience, or how will you feel when the thing itself that you're aiming towards, or that you're working for, or that you're praying for, becomes a reality? Why that question matters for me is because what the question does is that it puts me in an emotional state where the thing that I'm working for, actually I can feel and experience it as though it were already here. And it emotionalizes the thought of the thing and puts it almost in the present, right? And in my mind, it deepens the anticipation of the thing becoming a reality, right? Because you're almost feeling the feelings already. And it almost closes the gap between whether or not you can or can not achieve the thing. Like, it makes it a present reality, at least emotionally so. And in my mind, that's what faith actually looks like, right? Faith is to see yourself experiencing the reality of the thing even before it manifests itself in physical form, and even before it materializes itself in a tangible way. And so faith itself transcends or goes above what is evident immediately, in the immediate sense, right? Faith is greater than what is sensory, right? What you can see, touch, and feel. And even sometimes what you can even feel, faith itself can override what you feel, because you can decide on what you feel, what emotions will you feel. And so the question is, how will you feel when the thing becomes a reality? I used to do this, for example, when I was studying, when I was working towards something. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to, for the day to come, and I wonder how we'll feel. I'll be so excited, I'll be so happy, I'll be jumping for joy, or whatever. And the faith aspect in that is in the fact that faith anticipates what it is believing for, right? So if you have faith that the seed you are planting is going to produce a fruit, you already start looking for the fruit, right? You already start looking forward to the fruit, rather. So there's an aspect of faith that is anticipating the fulfillment of the thing that it's praying towards or hoping for. And one best way that I found to put myself in that state is to ask that question. I was having a conversation with someone and I asked her the same question, and she was like, I'm trying to work towards this. I hope it becomes a reality. I'm working towards it. It's a bit stressful, blah, 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 blah. And I asked the question to say, how will you feel when it happens, right? How do you think you'll feel when it actually becomes a reality? And I could see, I could hear the joy in the voice and in the face. It's like, man, I'll be so happy. I'll do this. I can't wait. I'll, probably, want to even, take myself out on the day, whatever. Because the question brings the reality of the thing into the present. They say, this is how I will feel. Now, why that's significant is because faith itself is necessary in order to achieve the things that we're working towards, right? The faith aspect actually increases the possibility of actually achieving those things. Now, I know it may sound like a bit of a philosophical thing, but I don't think there can truly be any real success without faith. Because the faith is what you're working towards, is what pushes you to work towards the thing, even before the thing becomes a reality itself. So, for example, if you're in school and you're studying towards a degree, a diploma, a master's, a PhD, whatever, you have faith that you can actually achieve the thing and that the thing can become a reality. But in the present, you're in the trenches, right? In the present, you're working, you're trying to, going through the day-to-day, you're, working towards it each day. But the faith is necessary in order to succeed, because the faith is, I already see myself in that position. I already see myself, if you're imagining graduation, I already see myself, taking that robe and wearing the cap. I already see my name being mentioned, as having completed this dissertation or whatever. It's essential to have the faith in order to achieve the success. And without that faith, I don't think that one can truly achieve that success. Even if you think about the definition of success itself, there are various definitions of success. One of my favorite definitions is by a guy called Earl Nightingale, and maybe I'll unpack it in another video, where he says success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, right? So you have an ideal that you're working towards, you have an end goal, and as you progressively realize it, that is success. But that, in order for that to take place, faith is essential, because you need to believe that the end goal is a reality and that it can be something that is your reality and mine. And so I don't think that true success can be achieved without faith, faith in the possibility that the thing might be, or will be. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were having just a conversation around this thing. And in the conversation, I was sharing an experience of, going to a dealership just to go, look at a specific car that I really like, just go see it. Very expensive car. And I really was like, let me just go and, pay them a visit at the dealership, just go see this car. And obviously I wasn't planning to buy the car, at least in that moment. And I went to the dealership and I asked, who can I speak to? A salesman. It was a bit late in the day. And I arranged the salesman. I'm like, I want to come and see this car. And so I was having the conversation with my friend. And I was saying to him, I don't know why, for some reason, I felt a little bit of nervousness going to the dealership. And it may have been because, I wasn't planning to buy at the time. I actually wanted to go look, whatever. And then we started having a conversation about whether or not we truly believe in the goals that we're aiming towards, right? To say that we have these ambitious goals, but sometimes we can fight with the faith or the doubt that associates those goals. Say, can I really achieve it? Will I ever achieve it? Is it ever going to be a possibility? And he shared a story that was really profound, and I'll summarize the story, but it's the idea that he was with someone who were going to buy another very expensive car, a luxury car, and they were traveling to go and buy the car. And the person who was going to buy the car, because they knew that they had the resources already there to buy the car, they had no question in their mind about, they already knew, I can't wait to experience this thing. I'm going to, get it. I'm going to, And my friend as well, even though it was not his car he was going to buy, but he was, with the person as they were going to buy the car together, shared the experience of how even himself shared in the faith to say, no, we're going there to the dealership. And there's no question, they're not going to ask you, can you afford this, blah, 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 blah. In your mind that you already have what's necessary for the car. The story is about faith. And the point that we were making at the end of that conversation was that when they went to go buy the dealership, they already had the picture in their mind that this is going to be a reality when they come back. And they worked towards it, and they had all the resources necessary. That this thing is a reality, and there's no question about it, And he was making the point that when the person was talking about getting the car for months before that, they already saw it as a reality even before the thing materialized itself physically, And that's the idea of faith, that faith is essential for the success, because faith puts you in the possession of the thing even before it becomes a reality, right? It's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. And that faith is essential. And the way to cultivate that faith is to ask the question, how will you feel when the thing you're working for or aiming towards becomes a reality? And then to actually work towards it, right? To actually then, in the state of that emotion, to actually then push towards making the thing a reality. That while it is real in the mind, the actions are just making sure that it becomes real in, the tangible world. I know it may sound a bit philosophical, but it's the idea of the power of faith. I want to read something that one of my favorite authors wrote, Napoleon Hill, on the power of faith, and I'm going to read it for you. It says, any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought and emotionalized with a burning desire for its realization, is taken over by the subconscious section of the mind and is acted on through whatever natural or logical means that may be available. I want to just zone in on a specific part of that really blows my mind. It's the idea that any thought, when it is emotionalized, right, through a deep desire for its realization, I'll summarize the end part, that it becomes a reality, right? And so the question of how will you feel when it becomes a reality? What that's actually doing is that it's emotionalizing the plan or the goal or the desire that you have in mind. So when you think about, okay, I want to achieve this, goal, this target for my career, this goal for my, education, for my profession, whatever, or my relationship, whatever area of life, the question, how will I feel, brings to that thought, an idea, a deep sense of emotions that's attached to it. And emotions have a way of driving our actions. That when you feel that joy, when you feel that excitement, it then energizes you to say, okay, I'm going to put in the work to actually go towards achieving that thing. And so the quote is saying that any dominating idea, any plan or any purpose that is kept in the mind through repetition of thought, and that is emotionalized, right, through a burning desire for its realization, it gets acted upon, and then it gets realized through whatever natural or logical means possible. The question, how will you feel, is then just emotionalizing the deep thought. And this is truly faith. And it goes towards a text that I love in Mark chapter 11, verse 24, where Jesus is praying there. And he says, whatsoever you desire, when you pray, believe that you do receive it, and you shall have it. So you have a desire for something, and you're praying for it, you're mentioning it, you're talking about it, you're stating it. Whatever things you desire, when you pray, believe that you do receive it, and then you shall have it, right? And the way to believe that you do receive it is to ask yourself, so how does it feel like to have received it? How will I feel when I actually have this thing? How will I feel when I actually have received this thing? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a type of, job or career, whatever, it's essential to put yourself in possession of the thing even before it becomes a reality physically. To go there even before you get there, right? To go there mentally even before you get there, so that that faith can then spur you onto action, to then realizing or bringing about that thing. And that faith manifests itself, and there's a text that faith without works is dead, right? That real faith always shows itself in actions, and those actions will then bring about the thing itself. Hope this will be of value to you, and asking yourself the question, how will you feel when you accomplish the thing that you're working towards? Wishing you all the best, and we'll catch each other on the other side. Much love.